Well, the Reason Rally is going to be the largest atheist event, or should say secular event in world history. And the thing about the Reason Rally is that it is going to be a movement-changing event, and it is being designed as a movement-changing event because we're going to be. I mean, if you think about the amount of work that we as the atheist movement are doing right now, we're doing it with about 40 to 50,000 members. Everything that the atheist movement, not just American atheists, but everybody, everything that we're all doing, we're doing it with about 40 to 50,000 members. The purpose of the Reason Rally is to bring in people so that they can be introduced to the movement, so that they can join the movement and they can become part of the movement, so that we can expand in our size, so that we can start a snowball effect to actually grow to a critical mass. That's the big picture. The little picture is that a lot of times people call me and say, okay, Dave, what can I do to help? And a lot of times we don't have something that's immediately needed. And what the Reason Rally is right now is it's immediately needed. We are asking everybody to come to the rally and bring friends and have a good time. If you've ever said, well, what can I do to help? Get yourself to Washington. We are going to have a fantastic time, even if it kills me. We've got Adam, we've got Tim Minchin coming, Bad Religion. We've got Adam Savage, just signed up yesterday or 2 days ago. He's going to be coming. We've got every major speaker from the movement. Richard Dawkins is going to be there. PZ Myers, Greta Christina. It's going to be fantastic. We've got comedians. We've got a poet coming. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be energizing. And one of the other callers said, you know, I'm looking forward to actually coming there from my place and actually being with other atheists. That is a powerful experience with which I can personally relate, because I've had that exact experience. When I went to that first protest that I mentioned earlier with the Promise Keepers, there was a meeting beforehand, and I remember walking into that. It was in a hotel ballroom, and there were maybe 100, 200 people there, and I walked into this ballroom, and there were 100 or 200 atheists in the room, and it was an emotionally changing experience for me. I had never seen that many atheists. Now we're going to have 1,000 people at the American Atheist National Convention, which directly follows the Reason Rally, also in the city. But when you think about the impact that we're going to have when we can get thousands and thousands of atheists in one room, in one place, in Washington, in front of TV cameras, in front of politicians, and say, we are here, we are not going away. In fact, we are growing and we're staying, and you have to deal with us. And the Republican Party may not ignore us, and the Democratic Party may not ignore us anymore, because we are not going to vote for you if you don't support our rights and our equality in the hearts and minds of America's citizenry. This is why the Reason Rally is so epically important, and this is why every major national organization is in the Reason Rally and involved in it and behind it. Even though we don't all get along necessarily, we're all behind it. Every one of us is behind it, is behind this movement. Come to the Reason Rally. It's on March 24th. There are bus discounts. There are plane discounts. There are hotel discounts. A room sharing and ride sharing system is going on the next couple of days. It's going to be the atheist Woodstock, and it's going to be a situation where if you come, you'll remember it forever, and if you don't come, you're going to regret it forever.
Well, you say it's of monumental importance, which is why it somewhat surprises me that you don't mention three of its key attractions, namely myself, Aaron Ra, and Thunderfoot. All of whom will be there.
And you'll all be there. And you'll all be there.
Anyway, let's move on to the next caller. I'm sorry, we can finally see him as well. Welcome. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show. I was on once before. I appreciate the opportunity to be on again.
No problem. We're going to have to be fairly brief, though, because we've got a few people waiting as well.
Sure. So I just wanted to say that I think Mr. Silverman's technique as far as sort of kicking people out of apathy is a good one. Making people angry and making them talk about it can be effective. But I wonder if, as far as like a long-term change that making people angry isn't the best way to go about it. I kind of have this thought that sort of the Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson approach is more effective, where you present the wonder of science and you allow the science to sort of grow in a theist's mind and let them sort of come to that conclusion on their own. I guess what I'm asking is, do you think that establishing a scientific background in a theist is the best way to get them to this conclusion?
No, I don't. And I think that's a dangerous tack to take. We must, as a movement, not become science. Okay, atheism and science are not the same thing, and we must not allow science to become atheism and become synonymous with atheism. If we do, science will become the target of theism, and we do not want science to become the target of theism. Science is for everybody, theist and atheist. It's for every person on the planet. Atheism is not for every person on the planet. Whether or not the introduction of the scientific method to a theist is a good thing to get them to go to atheism, yeah, that's probably one way to do it. But I think that if you have a solid theist, if you have a committed theist, the fact that you can prove him wrong isn't going to change his mind. And that's something that we have to realize. The fact that you can prove a theist wrong is not going to change his mind. And that's why none of the things that we do, none of the things that American Atheist does, are about changing theists into atheists. We're about getting atheists, turning atheists into outed atheists, and turning theists into being more aware of the atheists in their families and in their circle of friends and in their community. We're not about changing people from theists to atheists. Although many American Atheist members are, American Atheists as an organization does not have it in its charter to convert people. What we're here to do is to make the world better, to make the country better for atheists and for secular people, not so much as to convert them. But I will just caution you again, we do not want to make atheism and science synonymous. They're different things, and science is for everybody, whether they believe in a God or not.
The difference is, and I think that Silverman and I are on accord here, whereas atheists, of course, want to promote science forever. What we want to do with atheism is actually completely different than what every religion wants to do with itself. We don't want to gain more members to our religion. We want to completely nullify our own existence, in as much as we look for a day when no one identifies themselves as not believing impossible nonsense for no good reason. We look for a day when there are people who are singled out for holding beliefs based on nothing, that are completely improbable, that are dishonestly asserted as true when they are not evidently supported. We look for a day when everybody is more the Perry Mason type from the old TV show, where they're rational and logical and reasonable and raise an eyebrow anytime somebody says, well, I believe that, and then goes on about whatever their horseshit is. That's what we're looking for. And it is completely different than the promotion of science.
Yes.
I'm done.
Okay. Sorry, David, I'm going to remove you and move on to the next caller, but thank you for the call. And whilst I'm doing that, David, you wanted to add something?
No, I completely agree with Aaron. That's straight out of Sam Harris's mouth, I believe, and that's absolutely correct. That's a long-term view that atheists will just be the same as people who don't believe in Zeus or people who don't believe in the Easter Bunny are today, and we'll get there eventually. But for right now, we have to shout our position from the rooftops.